we tackle a question echoing in global power circles, a question that could reshape the very foundation of the world economy. Is the US dollar's reign as the world's dominant currency finally under threat? For decades, the dollar has been the backbone of international trade, investment, and reserves, trusted by governments and businesses alike. But now, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are leading a charge to break free from the dollar's grip. These countries are not just talking, they're actively seeking alternatives, building new financial alliances, and even discussing the creation of a shared currency. Their goal? To reshape the global financial order and reduce their dependence on the US dollar. Some argue the dollar's dominance is fading, pointing to the rapid economic rise of China and India, the expansion of BRICS, and the growing use of local currencies in international trade as clear evidence of a shifting world. They see a future where global power is more evenly distributed, and the dollar is just one currency among many. Others, however, insist the dollar's deep roots, unmatched stability, and the trust it commands make it irreplaceable. They argue that no other currency or alliance has yet matched the dollar's global reach, liquidity, or the confidence it inspires in times of crisis. So what's the truth behind these competing narratives? Tonight, we cut through the noise, examine the facts, and look beyond the headlines to understand what's really at stake for the world economy. We'll explore the growing strengths and ambitions of the BRICS nations, the enduring power and influence of the dollar, and the real motivations driving this high-stakes confrontation. What are the risks and opportunities for ordinary people, investors, and nations? Is a financial revolution truly underway, or is the dollar's dominance simply evolving into a new chapter? The answers could shape the future for generations. Let's find out. Who are the BRICS? This group of nations has become one of the most talked about alliances in global politics. But what exactly does it stand for? And why is it making headlines around the world? More than just an acronym, BRICS began as a partnership between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. 5 major emerging economies determined to have a bigger say in shaping the future of global affairs. These countries, each with their own unique strengths and challenges, came together to amplify their voices on the world stage. Collectively, BRICS nations represent nearly half the world's population, over 3 billion people, and command a rapidly growing share of global GDP. Their cities are bustling hubs of innovation, industry, and culture, reflecting the dynamic changes underway in these societies. But BRICS isn't a closed club. In 2023, the group expanded to welcome Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, and by 2025, Indonesia joined as well. This expansion has significantly broadened the bloc's reach and influence, making it a truly global coalition that spans multiple continents and cultures. Today, BRICS includes some of the world's largest energy producers, manufacturing giants, and agricultural powerhouses. From oil fields to tech factories and vast farmlands, these countries are essential to the world's supply chains and economic stability. Their shared vision is to create a multipolar world, one where global decisions aren't dictated solely by Washington or Brussels, but are shaped by a broader range of voices and interests. This vision challenges the traditional dominance of Western powers and seeks to rebalance international influence. To achieve this, BRICS has built its own institutions like the New Development Bank, designed to fund infrastructure and development projects without relying on Western financial systems. These efforts aim to foster economic independence and cooperation among member states. Importantly, BRICS is not a military alliance. Instead, it's an economic and political force using diplomacy, trade, and investment to challenge the old order and promote new forms of international collaboration. Through annual summits, coordinated policies, and joint initiatives, BRICS signals the arrival of a new era in international relations, one where emerging economies have a real seat at the table. The rise of BRICS is a direct challenge to US-led dominance in global affairs. As this bloc continues to grow in size and influence, it's becoming a force the world can no longer afford to ignore. Why are BRICS nations so determined to move away from the dollar? In a word, control. The US dollar isn't just a currency, it's a tool of American power, used to impose sanctions and influence global trade. The freezing of Russia's reserves after the Ukraine conflict was a wake-up call, showing how vulnerable nations are when reliant on the dollar. BRICS wants economic sovereignty, the freedom to trade on their own terms, immune to US pressure. By trading in their own currencies, they hope to boost their economies and reduce risks. For China, promoting the yuan is central to its global ambitions. De-dollarization is both a defensive and offensive move to reshape the world economy. The US isn't watching quietly as BRICS challenges the dollar. Washington sees this as a direct threat to its global influence and has responded with forceful rhetoric and policy. In 2025, President Trump threatened 100% tariffs on BRICS goods if they launched a rival currency, a declaration of economic war. The US is leveraging its massive consumer market, warning that BRICS economies still depend on American buyers. Behind the scenes, the US is strengthening alliances and making the dollar more attractive to investors. The Federal Reserve's policies and diplomatic efforts reinforce the dollar's central role. The message, stick with the dollar or face severe consequences. The US is determined to defend its financial crown at all costs. Amid bold talk, where is the new BRICS currency? Despite years of speculation, the dream remains unrealized. At the July 2025 BRICS summit, leaders officially dropped plans for a common currency, citing insurmountable economic differences. Instead, the focus has shifted to trading in national currencies, like the yuan and rupee, within the bloc. China leads this push, with the yuan now used in about half of BRICS trade, but globally, its impact is still minor. The renminbi accounts for just 2% of global payments. A major obstacle remains. There's no unified BRICS payment system to rival SWIFT. Without this infrastructure, local currency trade is limited and inefficient. For now, the idea of a BRICS coin is off the table, and the dollar's dominance remains unchallenged. Why is the dollar so hard to dethrone? For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of the global financial system, shaping economies and influencing decisions in every corner of the world. But what makes it so resilient, so unyielding in its dominance? Its dominance rests on powerful pillars that have been built up over generations, making it the currency of choice for governments, businesses, and individuals alike. First, scale. Nearly 90% of global currency trades involve the dollar, moving trillions of dollars every single day. This immense liquidity means that anyone, anywhere, can buy or sell dollars with ease, making it the lifeblood of international trade and finance. Second, it's the world's primary reserve currency. Central banks across continents stockpile US dollars and US assets, relying on them for safety, stability, and instant access to funds. Central banks everywhere hold US assets for safety and liquidity. Despite talk of alternatives, from the euro to the yuan, none have managed to inspire the same level of confidence or reliability. The dollar's share of global reserves remains unmatched, accounting for the majority of the world's official foreign exchange holdings. Third, trust. Decades of stability, transparent markets, and a strong legal system have made the dollar the default for global business. Investors and companies know they can rely on the US financial system, even in times of crisis. The rule of law and the sheer size of the US economy mean most international contracts, from oil to technology, are priced in dollars. This network effect reinforces the dollar's central role, making it even harder to replace. Competing currencies like China's yuan face major hurdles: capital controls, limited convertibility, and political risks that make investors wary of switching away from the dollar. Until a challenger can offer the same scale, trust, and freedom of movement, the dollar's supremacy will remain unchallenged. Safety, liquidity, and openness are not easily replicated. The dollar's unique combination of these qualities keeps it at the heart of the world's financial system. The dollar's position is secure, standing tall as a symbol of financial strength and stability. The world's financial system is built on the dollar, with networks and institutions deeply intertwined with its fate. Change won't come easily. The unshakable pillars of American financial power continue to hold strong, shaping the global economy for years to come. The biggest obstacle to BRICS isn't US strength, it's internal division. BRICS is a diverse group with conflicting interests and priorities. China pushes for a UN-centric system, but India is wary, openly stating it won't undermine the dollar. India fears a system dominated by China, while Russia, isolated by sanctions, is desperate for alternatives. Other members like Brazil and the UAE have deep economic ties to the West and prefer a balanced approach. These divisions prevent BRICS from forming a unified strategy. They agree on reducing dollar dependence, but not on how to do it. Without unity, their challenge to the dollar remains fragmented and weak. Where does the battle stand in 2025? BRICS is making incremental moves, not launching a revolution. The main tactic settling trade in local currencies, especially between China and Russia, or India and the UAE. The yuan is gaining ground within BRICS, but global trade is still overwhelmingly dollar-based. Most international deals, oil, commodities, manufacturing, are still priced and settled in dollars. The network effect of the dollar is hard to break. BRICS nations are building their own payment systems, like China's CIPS and Russia's SPFS, aiming to bypass SWIFT. Linking these systems is a slow, complex process. For now, de-dollarization is a gradual erosion at the margins, not a dramatic shift. The dollar's central role endures. So what's the verdict? The BRICS challenge is real and growing, but the dollar's dominance isn't ending soon. BRICS expansion and local currency trade are reshaping the landscape, but practical hurdles remain immense. The dollar's deep roots, trust and liquidity are unmatched. Internal BRICS divisions and US countermeasures limit the bloc's impact. We're witnessing a slow war of attrition, not a sudden revolution. The dollar's share may gradually erode, but a dramatic collapse isn't on the horizon. King Dollar is being tested, but for now he remains on his throne. The story is far from over.